So let us conclude this module with a quick discussion of autoencoders in quantum dot experiments. So unlike the previous topics we covered, this unsupervised learning is a little bit less charted territory than the supervised ones. But nonetheless, there has been several interesting usages already. Let me specifically mention this pioneering one from 2019 by Lennon and al. From Natalia Ares group. As we already talked about charge stability diagrams a lot in this course, we already discussed this point that you want to measure as little as possible, but at the same time, the sort of approaches to measuring as little as possible we took so far were pretty naive. We just said, just measure a smaller patch, or measure your charge stability diagrams with a lower resolution. But in the end, the really useful data in a charge stability diagrams are really just the transitions. I can take all of these measurement points, but if I don't know where the transition is, I measure them for no reason. So what they did in Natalia Ares group was to train a variational autoencoder to help them give score to each measurement points to help them decide where to measure next. Then you get images like this, where a lot of points in the middle is unmeasured, but you sort of get the really relevant transition, the really relevant information about where your actual Coulomb diamonds are, which is pretty cool. And it's another sort of data-driven way to find methods to measure as little as possible instead of doing these infinite scans. The same group later generalized this to sort of more fine-tuning tasks with a similar spirit. So this is just to mention that this is not as common, but at the same time, it's great to see some successful experimental demonstrations already. And this is definitely one of those things we have to think about a little bit more if we want to make neural network algorithms productive in a more high-dimensional data sets where you just, for practical reasons, don't have options to label everything. And you saw, hopefully, from this module that even very simple unsupervised analysis can give you a surprising amount of information about your data set. And this kind of philosophy will generalize really nicely to higher dimensions as well. That's it for module 3. See you in module 4.